Hi guys, good evening. How you guys doing? Depending on where you are, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Okay, how you guys doing? I hope the week went well and everything is going fine. Yes, it will not always be perfect, but at least as far as we are alive is enough reason to be thankful to God. You know, for us to be alive, we have every reason to be grateful to God. You know, so okay, the topic of this my video is as you can already see on the caption, is domestic abuse. Domestic abuse, you know, people always throw around domestic violence. That's the one that is very common, domestic violence, you know, but the general will I say the general term is domestic abuse. Within the domestic abuse, you now have domestic violence, which is more like the physical abuse. So there are 4 types. I'm talking from what I know. There are 4 types of domestic abuse, 4 categories. Mental or emotional abuse is part of domestic abuse. Financial abuse, physical abuse, and sexual abuse. Those are the 4 major types of domestic abuse that couples, you know, that can happen within the household, right? Among couples. So I'm focusing on emotional/mental abuse. Why? Because physical abuse has become so common, you know, and is more visible when somebody is physically abused. When somebody is being beaten every time, the neighbors hear, they see marks on the body, there are scars, you know, so it's obvious. In most cases, you know that this person is undergoing abuse. And again, domestic violence or physical abuse, people can go to the hospital, take treatment, treat the wound, as long as no bone is broken, you know, treat the wounds and everything can heal by God's grace. But when it comes to emotional or mental abuse, sometimes even the victim does not even realize how bad it has eaten her up or how bad it has eaten him up. So it happens gradually. It's an internal wound. It's something that is happening within that you don't know. And what you don't know, you can't control. So that's one bad thing about emotional/mental abuse, and that's what the focus of this video, you know, is the emotional part. So let me even give a little bit of description of what different kinds of abuse mean. So for financial abuse is a situation whereby somebody is solely dependent, like financially dependent on the other person, and because of that, that person that is dependent is not able to express maybe when she's not happy or when he's not happy. You don't have a right, you don't have an opinion. Once you say your mind or you say something that offends the other person that has that financial power will withdraw that money from you, use that money to manipulate you, use that money to gaslight you, use that money to, you know, make you don't have any right of your own. That's the financial abuse. Then physical abuse, I've talked about it, we all know what it is. Let me talk about sexual abuse. Yes, rape happens in marriages. Even some people, while inflicting physical abuse, they rape their partners or they rape their spouses just to show that they have the power. Some people do it together with the physical abuse. So rape is part of. I've talked about financial. I've talked about physical. I've talked about sexual. But emotional and mental abuse, which is the focus of this video, is a situation whereby you are being gaslighted. You know, somebody will just in their home sometimes for some time the person doesn't talk to the other person. You know, just start using silent treatment over nothing. Nothing has really happened, but the person will just start using silent treatment. Sometimes when they ask what is wrong, don't ask me such questions. There is nothing is causing the problem, but the person is using silent treatment. Sometimes it's verbal, you know, any little thing or mistake, the person uses strong words, you know, very harsh words, condescending words on the other person, you know, talking down on the other person. You know, that's another form of emotion that what they can use to inflict emotional abuse or mental abuse on the other person. Sometimes it's unnecessary criticism. Even if, yes, somebody did something wrong, you want to correct, you correct it as if you are correcting a child that does not have, or somebody that does not have sense. You just talk anyhow to the person, idiot, see the way you are doing this thing, or you start using abusive words. Those are the things those are, verbal abuse is part of those, what, results to mental and emotional abuse. Sometimes, yes, over little things. It's not even a mistake. It's not even an obvious mistake. The person will blow it out of proportion, complain about how you do this thing, how you do not do it well, how you should have done the other thing. It's always you, the other person, being the wrong person. It's always, you are always the person doing the wrong things, So at the end of the day, these things will cause that person to start being withdrawn from, like, it has some impact on that person, social impact. The person start withdrawing because your self-esteem is being impacted at that point. Your self-esteem is being impacted when someone constantly tells you uses negative words on you, tells you how you are useless, how you are worthless, how you have not brought in any value to his or her life, how you are so senseless, all those kind of things. Or every time the person is angry with you, there is nothing you do to please the person that the person will be pleased. So those are the things that will start making that person have low self-esteem. And the person will always be blaming his or herself. Mostly women go through this. I'm sorry that I'm always focusing on women, because it's very common amongst women that are mostly the victims, because they're the ones that are, the subject in the family. Like, they're the ones that should submit their lives, right, in the marriage. So the person starts having these self-esteem issues. The person will not, you find out that you as a victim, you will not want to associate with people outside, because you are now feeling low of yourself. You are now feeling low. You don't feel that you amount to anything anymore, because the person you are sharing your house with is always telling you how worthless you are. So those are the impact. Then you have this is the social impact. Then you have the physical impact. The physical impact is physical health. When I say physical health, when somebody starts having this kind of thing, it could result to high blood pressure, when we are always having anxiety over what the other person is doing to you, because you're always worried. Because it comes, the first impact is the mental. It's the mental impact, when you start having anxiety, when you start having depression, when you start having PTSD, when you start having, you are always worried, you're always afraid, you are having sleepless nights. It starts impacting on your health, from mental health to physical health. Your immune system starts dropping. You can develop high blood pressure. There are so many things that can happen. And once someone's immune system starts dropping, it opens up room for diseases. It's high risk. It creates room for diseases. Those are the things. Some people will say, as long as he's not beating you, as long as he's not beating you, as long as he's providing for you, you don't have any reason, you don't have any problem, is a big lie, my people. You might not be beaten physically, but all those mental, verbal abuse, all those treatments, ill treatments, all those emotional abuse, it's even worse, because you don't even know how much damage it's doing until it comes to kill. You don't know how much damage is due. I remember that time, the time of Osinachi on Facebook, on social media, when it happened, nobody, you will not know. When it comes to the impact of emotional abuse, it's too much, it's too bad that you don't know. Sometimes physical abuse, at some point, you say, I beg go, make my leg no break, or make my eye no blind because of beating, make I begin waka. At least you know when to say, oh, enough is enough. But mental or emotional abuse, most times people, the victims, they don't even know, because how it works. Sometimes they're even they start blaming themselves, so they start even abusing themselves. Like, I don't want to use the word abusing themselves. They'll start blaming themselves anytime anything goes wrong. I'm not, it's me, it's always me. Maybe they'll not start justifying the actions of their abuser. I'm not a professional in this field, but based on research and based on what I've seen around me, I know how these things work. to an extent. So that's why I decided to make this video. So that's the social impact. Then when it comes to economic impact, so for instance, if you are somebody that's why for me, I don't I don't play with what my source of income. Like, I can joke with every other thing, but I don't play with what puts food on my table, because that's the only power I have. That's the only security I have for myself. So anything that will impact it, I avoid anything that will make, if I see I could, tolerate certain things, but when it comes to that, this thing is affecting my productivity of towards my work, towards my job, I drop that thing fast. I drop it fast, because in this life, your employer, or even if you are the one running your business, the bills, they don't ask you your state of mind. If you are there crying, being down, you are not being productive, your bills are piling up. It doesn't ask you, nobody asks you about, oh, okay, are you this, okay, this bill of this month, you're not going to pay it because you are this. No, you need to keep on going. So why I'm saying this is, some people, this is another impact of abuse. When you are not being productive, you see some people, they can't do anything meaningful, they can't think, they can, because their state of mind is scattered, is bad. They can't use their heads anymore, they can't use their brains anymore, they can't think, they can't function ahead. So it's not, and this thing, we all have different degrees, we all have different levels of tolerance. There are people that are more, like, they can take more than the other people. So it's left for you to know yourself, to know who you are, to know what you are capable of taking, and you are still sane. There are some people that any little thing mentally, it has taken a big toll on them, like it has impacted them so much. And there are some people, they can't. That's why you see some women, they have lost maybe 2 of their children or 3 of their children, and you see them, they're still a bit okay, you're still okay. And you're like, if it has not happened to you, or you have not experienced it, you'll be like, how are these people coping? What kind of, And there are some people, they'll lose one from that moment, they are gone. So everybody have, that's why I don't judge people. Oh, is it not this person that is doing this? Why are you not doing that? No, all of us, we are individuals. We have different threshold for pain. Just the same way, some people, when you took an injection in their body, they'll just be like this. When I was in school, we are the ones, one of those that used to take cane, we just do like this and be taking cane. And there are some people, when they just give them once, they will start jumping up and down. So as we have different thresholds of physical pain, that's the same way we have different thresholds of emotional pain or mental pain or different kinds of pain. Do you understand? So you don't judge people with other people. You don't compare. Oh, this person, is it not this person that has done this thing? Oh, she married. Is it not this person that are beating her every day? Is she not still there? You, that they have not even done anything to you. Is it not this person? Is on a case-by-case basis. Everybody, every individual is different. What can kill this person might not be able to kill the other person. You understand? So that's why if you go to a professional, they will do an assessment to know your level of tolerance, and then they will know the kind of thing the kind of solution they're going to profile. So I've mentioned the impact. So I'm trying to mention, like, I want to talk about the signs. If you have a relation, or your daughter, or your sister, or whatever. And because sometimes when people start passing through this thing, abuse, because of low self-esteem, they are not open. They don't come out to share what they're going through. But you can see the signs. Maybe somebody that used to be very active, very jovial, all of a sudden, the person is now being quiet. All of a sudden, the person does not want to come out to socialize. All of a sudden, those are the changes you see, and you begin to, you know that this person is undergoing, and it's time to call that person, ask that person questions, and and get to help. So that's it. And again, as a victim, if you are a victim already, or before to avoid being a victim, it's always good before you get into relationship. You don't know it all. Before you get into relationship, especially relationship that will lead to marriage, you have to be clear on your communication. To start with, you have to protect yourself financially, so that there will be no case of financial abuse, because that one, if once you don't have financial, it's more likely you will tolerate the other ones ahead. So that's why I always preach for people to be empowered. Once you have your financial security, then the likelihood of the other one happening will be reduced. Or even if it happens, the likelihood of you staying there to tolerate it will be reduced. So it's better, first of all, address your finances by, as a single person, make sure you have something in your hand that is monetizable, what you can do with your hand. Make sure you have the skill, make sure you have the experience, the quality, the qualification of of service that you can monetize and make money. That's basic. That's a fundamental. Then in terms of you already, as somebody, that's why sometimes it's good to be mature before getting into all these relationships or marriages. There is a way somebody will be behaving. I can already tell the kind of person the person is. I know sometimes you see, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, somebody will be coming to you, especially when you know you're a very confident person. They start with telling you things about you that is not good. So for instance, this your stomach is too big, oh, this your leg, this your leg is, see the way you're walking, oh, this your, like, they will start little by little working on your self-esteem. Before you met this person, you were okay with yourself to an extent, but all of a sudden the person, when he was coming to you, it will be nice and all that just to get you, but when you guys now start dating, you'll be seeing that he's now telling you negative things about you, that we are always particular about the way we look. Women, we like, our looks, we would like to look good. So when somebody, instead of complimenting you, instead of telling you, oh babe, you look nice today, the person is now always looking for faults. This one, see the way you are this, see the way you are that. That working on your self-esteem little by little, they will be bringing you down. And for sometimes those kind of people, they come with charm. Like initially they look like all that, they look like, oh, this is your dream, this is what you're looking for. Then you are charmed, you are glued to this person, you want to do everything to be with this person. So when you now be with this person, they will start coming out with that character or that attitude of trying to condemn you, because they have brought you to the place they want you to be, the place you like them, you want to be with them. By all means, they will now start. So as they're telling you those things, you are trying to adjust to meet their expectation. See the way your hand is, this your hand self, this one. They are complaining about, or the way you are talking, see the way you are talking, is that the way you should be talking as a lady? But they saw this thing initially before they came for you, so they will start pulling you down. Another thing they do is to pull you away from friends and family. That's another thing. Oh, this your cousin self, she talks too much, do you think you should be having her around? Oh, this your friend, she doesn't look like a good friend, she looks like she'll be influencing you negatively. But this, you if you have brain, you know that before you met this person, this particular friend that talking about, you've been with this friend almost all your life, maybe from secondary school, maybe. So how come is now that you met a guy that the friend will become a bad influence? If you have common sense, you should be able to, don't be carried away by, I want to be with this guy. You now cut off network, cut off relationships that you should keep. And that's why sometimes at the end of the day, when people experience this abuse, they find out they don't have anybody anymore. Like before they went into that relationship, they had friends, and as the abuse was going on, they were cutting off. When they are finally destroyed, they don't have anybody to run to. They don't have any support system, because they've broken away all the support system. And the abuser, they know how to do this. They will make sure you cut off your friends, because they know once you have those networks, they will not be able to manipulate you and treat you the way they wish or they want to treat you, because you will be communicating with those people and they'll be kind of helping you to analyze issues. So these people, they know what they're doing. These abusers, they're very talented. I know of a story. We had couples, husband and wife. Oh, they didn't date that much. Like they got introduced. Somebody introduced them, a common friend introduced them, and they were, they were dating. They didn't date. Let me not put that they dated. They didn't date. It was just, we met. And this guy seemed to be perfect, all that, you know. And once a guy seems to be perfect, because we girls, we are in a hurry to jump in, and we feel, oh, there are not much out there that are good. So if you see any sign of good person, you just rush. So before you know it, she rushed into it. And she rushed into it before, like, somebody, the change then started, you know. Before you know it, the guys, they're complaining about her physical look, her this, her body changing, and her body changing was as a result of pregnancy, you know, normal changes that should happen. Oh, this one, this stretch mark, this one. Started complaining. All that lovey-dovey guy that she used to know started turning into something else. So she was just looking, trying to adjust to meet his expectation every time. That was as if that was not enough. Any little thing she does, mistake, whether mistake or not, he will complain, he will shout at her, talk to her anyhow. He started, you know, keeping late nights, he started avoiding, you know, those are the things we are talking about. She started having low self-esteem, and even before they went in, he was telling her how bad all her friends are, bad influence. Even the person that connected them, even the person that connected them became bad eventually. Like, he was saying, oh, this is your friend, but it was that same friend, common friend, that connected them. So now she even became bad. He wanted nobody to be friends with this lady, so that he would put the lady like down and use her as a doormat. So at the end of the day, luckily for her, she was able to open up to someone, and that was when she started seeking help. First of all, they introduced her to a professional. From there, she started getting back her self-esteem, and she started challenging the guy, you know. Like, the guy was surprised. And you know why she was able to do it? She had her own coins. If she was depending on the guy, it would have been a double tragedy. She had her own coins. That was why she was able to get professional help, pay for professional help. And she was like, she didn't discard all her friends. She was able to keep some people, or so a few people around, that helped her to get back. And she was able to get back. She had the confidence, or the strength, the willpower to leave that marriage. So why I'm saying this story is that, so that you know the signs, if you are a victim, or if you know someone that is already a victim, or you even to be preventive about it, to prevent yourself from being a victim. It's very destructive. It is very destructive. This time, in the era we are, is not the era for one to start entertaining any form of abuse that will impact your mental health, because the world is already messed up. You know, there's no much happy events taking place. It's always from one bad story to another. So it's more important now that you protect your mental health as much as possible. Anything that is coming to, you know, infiltrate, or anything that is coming to distort your mental health or your mental process, you need to cut it off. You need to cut it off on time. On time, especially if you are in a relationship that you are looking forward to making more serious. You need to start looking out for these things and make sure you don't fall victim. It can be very destructive. The destruction is something you don't find out until in most cases the person is gone. Most cases the person is gone. That's when, or the person now has one issue, one health issue. That's when, it will be noticed that this person has been passing through this. So please, my brothers, please, my sisters, I know some guys pass through abuse. Some guys are unlucky to get married to an abusive wife, and you know, the kind of abuse that might come from women are not even mostly physical, because women are not that physically like as physically powerful as men. So it's mostly this kind of abuse that I talked about. But overall, all in all, let us all protect our mental health as much as possible. Let's not allow somebody else, let's not give somebody else the power to manipulate us, to turn us into what we don't understand. And I keep emphasizing on the need for women, especially women, to be financially empowered. It helps a lot. It is one of the preventive measure of all these different kinds of abuse, so that it doesn't come. Even when it comes, you are able to you are able to handle it, you are able to manage it, you are able to stand by yourself or on your feet to do what you need to do. So that's my that's the purpose of this video. Please, if you have any opinion, any other point you want to add, any opinion concerning what I've mentioned, if you have any story or experience, what you have seen from other people or you have experienced it, please, you can type it in the comment section. It might help some other person to learn. And please share this video for others to listen and be blessed. Thank you so much for always listening to always creating time to listen to my video. I love you all. Bye for now.